Get them on here.
As opposed to these two. More next from Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher as Newcastle were left feeling blue again after a visit to Stamford Bridge. He was the man of the match. Was he the key man tonight?
He was, and I just want to look at his actual touch map, because when he's come into England, you sort of see what position is he, what form, where does he play in a formation. So Frank used him at times wide left and through the middle. It's really interesting how he was used tonight. It was almost a mixture of both. And you see his actual touch map, and you think of Timo Werner. In the appearances that we saw from, saying at Leipzig, he was almost in that Thierry Henry role. Obviously not linking him to Thierry Henry in terms of ability just yet, but that position where he's just inside left constantly, want to make runs there, want to get on the ball there. He was wide, actually, for the cross, for the goal. And just this relationship with Alonso, just going to highlight the two of them here. And more often than not, the manager has used a player in that position, but with it being Timo Werner, he's obviously given him licence to become wide. But when he does go wide, you see Alonso there, just sees where he is, so he doesn't need to stay there. And that's what we saw all night, him moving off there. So I think it's definitely been I think maybe to get the best out of Timo Werner, that these are his best positions, at times wide, at times inside. Because this didn't really happen on the right-hand side. And I haven't seen it before with maybe Havertz, if he's played in there. So I think it's something to definitely try and get the best out of Timo Werner. You see that change now. He's gone narrow. And now Alonso is the left wing back. And this happened constantly throughout the game. I think this one comes over to the far side and Alonso get his shot away. So you see him in a wide position getting his shot off. And there's just another clip from in the second half. Just want to stop it now, and you see Timo Werner is part of that front three, if you like. We're saying what we're seeing with Chelsea now, where there's a centre forward and almost two number 10s. And you see it's Alonso wide of him, that side, and Hudson-Odoi here, that front five, as we mentioned before the game. So that's where the fix now. And it's just, again, really good to see the interplay there. That's what you think of Timo Werner, making that run in that inside channel. So he makes it there. Again, the combination with Alonso. And Timo Werner finds himself where he does for the first goal. And this time it comes out to Alonso. And again, he gets another strike. But you see the positions Alonso's getting those strikes from. One was really wide, with Timo Werner inside. Another one's Timo Werner getting a cross in, and he's getting a shot on the edge of the box. So it looks to me that it's something certainly that's being worked on, from the manager, trying to get the best out of, as I said, the big money signing.
And obviously a key part in the first goal, and then obviously scoring his first goal as well after 1,000 minutes without. Do you think that's one of the early successes, if you like, of Tuchel's time, getting more out of Timo Werner?
It's the reason he's been brought in, I think, ultimately to get these players, Havertz, Werner, massive investments, talented young players, to get the best out of them, to play a system that suits them. It looks like there's some early reward, it looks like it's paying off. The bigger challenges are to come, but Tuchel looks like, you see him at the end there, all the players are hugging him, and it looks like there's a good relationship building.
And I'm pleased to say that the Chelsea head coach, Thomas Tuchel, is waiting to speak to us in a pretty miserable evening at Stamford Bridge. That's 13 points from 15. What did you like about your team tonight and the way they played?
I liked the first half. I liked the first half where we played with courage, had a lot of touches in the box and had a lot of shots. I think like 12 shots to 3. We managed to keep them away from our box, did not allow half chances, did not allow chances. So I like this a lot. During the whole match, we lack precision in the last decision. We lack decision making in the box, can be more, how do you say, more deadly, more
precise,
more precise and more decisive, that we create even more chances of our half chances, that we are more precise in the box. We lack this throughout.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
Thomas, you've started with a back three at Chelsea. Is that because of the personnel that you have, or is that something that could change in the future? Because we were told that you like to change systems at different times.
Yeah, we did in Barnsley, for example, at half-time, because we had the feeling we could help if it's a 4-1 formation in the back for the build-up on the pitch. If we do, it's just to help the players. The first decision, I mean, I think it was a Tuesday, and we arrived on Tuesday. We had to play on Wednesday, and the decision was to have Thiago on the field and us be also on the field as a captain. And the decision was for a double six, so it was for Jorginho and Kova. So more or less, it was like we wanted to have the experienced guys and the guys we had a clear picture from also from last seasons who represent Chelsea. And this was more or less the decision. Then we were very strong in that in the first games. It helped us in the first game against Wolverhampton because the Wolves play with 5 and we wanted to give them a secure feeling to be always with 3 against the 2 strikers from Wolves, to not suffer in difficult situations or in too much ball possession from the opponent. Then we did very, very well. There was no need to change. So if we do, I think we can, and we should be flexible enough to do, but there's also no need to change just for the sake of the change.
Thomas, you kept a clean sheet tonight and brought Kepa back into the goal. Managers like to fix their number one. Will he be your number one now for the rest of the season, do you think?
No, Edu is the number one, and this is clear. This was clear before the game, and this stays like this. I'm very happy that Kepa continued with a second clean sheet in a row. It was the moment to let him feel the rhythm, to let him build up his confidence, not only in the cup game but also in a home game at Stamford Bridge. This was the moment, and it was clear before that we hope for the very best performance and for a clean sheet, and that Edu will be in goal from now on, because he recovered physically, he recovered mentally, and right now, today, he's the number one.
Thomas, we noticed in the game there's a lot of interchange in between Alonso and Timo Werner. Sometimes Timo Werner was inside, sometimes outside. Do you think that role is a way of trying to get the best out of him at Chelsea?
Well, we know that he likes to I would say swim or drift out a little bit to the wing in between full-backs and centre halves. So we try to bring him into these positions. He likes to play next to a guy who's the reference in the middle, like Tammy or like Oli. Yeah, he likes that. We wanted to escape the pressure on the half positions today, and we had Mason in this position on the right half side, and we put Marcos more on the inside to have Timo in the high position and use his speed. We did very good in the first half. I like how this worked. Second half, like I said, was a lack of precision, a lack of decision making, was too many decisions backwards into the pressure. But yeah, I'm convinced that Timo again was very decisive for us today with an assist and a goal. I'm very happy for that, because he really deserves. He was working hard during the last matches, and we could feel that this will come. But I think he can also play as a double striker. He can also play maybe sometimes as a number 9 if he's clever enough to use his speed and his runs. But his favourite position and his biggest strength is maybe if he can drift out a little bit to the left side.
Final thought, Thomas, because we can see the rain is coming down there. You're into the top 4. Well, good to hear it. You're into the top 4 again for the first time in 2 months, actually, for Chelsea. Is that the target, or are you looking even beyond that?
Sure, this is the target, and this stays the target. There are many teams behind us chasing us, but yeah, we had many points to recover when we started, and it stays a big challenge, because there's many games coming. We still play teams from the top. We play teams from the bottom. Like every game is a difficult game, and we will keep on fighting. But the results were like this, that we knew that we can do a big step also for our confidence at the very end of this day in Premier League. And yeah, maybe you could feel it also that suddenly the team felt a little bit like we have something to lose and we don't want to give it out of our hands, instead of thinking up what we can earn and what we can still more create for us. So this was maybe the whole situation, but I'm very happy that it was a big step, and psychologically a big step, and it was a good run so far, but we have to continue. It's still a long way to go.
Well done tonight. We really appreciate you talking to us, Thomas.
Thanks.
You get the impression straight away that this is a coach that in the way he answers, you can hear it. Detail is everything.
I think so. I was interested on Werner. almost like playing him up front as a 9 on his own will be a last resort. That he said playing wide looked like the most favourite position, the one we've seen him in tonight. He said double 9, which means playing up front with another striker, which Chelsea have been reluctant to do. And then he could play as a 9, but the movement and the little runs would have to be almost, you know, they'd have to work well. So it's almost like he's set out exactly what he's going to do with Werner and how he's going to get the best out of him. He's made his mind up already. I
think it was really interesting. He said he works best with a fixed striker. So basically, Tammy Abraham, Giroud in that position. So he's almost, if he keeps playing that same system, he's one of the 2 number 10s. And then you think, how many players will be wanting to play in that position? So Pulisic, you look at him, you think of Ziyech. So if Timo Werner's already one of those players, there's only one other player who can play there. I know they'll be chopping and changing, but if he wants to get the best out of him, he feels that's his best role. If he plays there, then you're thinking about 3 or 4 players for one position. Yeah. Mount, Havertz, Ziyech, Pulisic. So
decent options.
We say the good options, yeah, but I also think about sometimes back with Frank's situation, and it'll come with Thomas Tuchel as well, in that sometimes you can have too many players. It looks like they've actually got maybe one attacking player too much, because sometimes that can cause you a problem on the training pitch, trying to keep players happy. But definitely, as you said earlier on, I think we both said, one of the reasons he's been brought in is to get the best out of big money signings. So you're already thinking about Havertz as well, certainly if Timo Werner is going to play in that position.
We wondered if that was why Balaga was brought back in goal tonight, but he's cleared it up there that Mendy is very much his number 1 and will be for the rest of the season. I thought that was interesting to hear as well. Let's have a look at Werner's role in the first goal then tonight, Gary.
Yeah. I think it's interesting when you think about that tactic tonight of Alonso going inside and Werner outside, and sometimes we see Manchester City, I'll just pause it there, sometimes we see Manchester City play their full-backs inside, and you see Raheem Sterling or Riyad Mahrez sometimes picking it up deeper, because they're the ones that are better at running at the ball. So ordinarily, what you would see in a normal team is that Werner would be in there, but then the ball would be switched over to Alonso. He would then be less capable of going on an amazing run, less capable of going and delivering something of quality. So it's a clever switch for this particular game, I believe, because of the fact that Newcastle were playing a diamond. And if you think about the diamond, and we played it with England, the good thing about a diamond is that you're very compact, and you basically, in that position there, you close off a lot of the central area. But what you do is you leave wide areas exposed. And on both sides, Chelsea had the space there. So what you then do is you get Hudson-Odoi and Werner as high as you possibly can in those wide areas.
What you were drawing then for a minute.
In those wide areas.
It's like the sun on Etch-a-Sketch.
In those wide areas, and you see the problem that the right back's got there is he basically it's played over. Alonso's took him in and there. And I just look at that now from Newcastle's point of view. And Newcastle actually were quite positive at times tonight defensively. They tried to keep a high line. But what they've got to do if they're playing in this diamond, they've got to go, they've got to go, they've got to go, they've got to go, and they've got to all come across. Because if you don't all go across like this, what you end up with, you end up waiting and you end up narrow. And look where this Newcastle team ends up. Because Alonso makes that run, Werner ends up going down the line, and all of a sudden, the Newcastle back 4 are so narrow, so deep, so compact, but they're in their own box because they've not decided just to take that brave decision to start with, just to go for it. Right back goals, right centre back goals, left centre back goals, and the rest of the team all force across. They've sagged back a little bit by that run of Alonso, and it's a tactic by Tuchel. Well done to him tonight for isolating those wide areas with Hudson-Odoi and Werner. And so just clear that off. As he goes across, he gets that yard. He's brilliant off the mark. He's got that Sterling element to him, that little touch and that little dart. And he fires it into an area where you're in the lap of the gods. You are in the lap of the gods. Once that ball goes in like that, you're in big trouble. And basically that's what happens. And you just see there, what's the run of Alonso? He just takes him away, and then all of a sudden you've got Werner, and the back 4 is in the problem, and Werner's perfect here. I mean, I have to say, played at right back many, many years, when you've got someone who's got that yard off the mark, it's a nightmare. Because you've got to stay honest with him. He's a right-footed player, so he could cut in and shoot on his right foot, so you've got to make sure that you don't let him come back in too easily. But he switches it down that line. He can play, obviously, with his left foot as well, and Giroud gets the benefit of it. It's a really good goal, but well worked. And through that tactic of isolating in wide areas, Alonso going in, Werner being out wide.
But it was 14 games.